Hey guys, it's Dad with Dad's Guide to Adulting. I hope you're doing well and that you're having a great day. In this video, we're going to be talking about one of the most important tools that young people in the United States have to build wealth, and that is a Roth IRA. I can't emphasize enough how important these kinds of accounts are. My own young adult children have been using them for a number of years, and they're already well on their way to saving for retirement. Whatever advice you do or don't follow on this Dad's Guide website, I strongly encourage you to learn about Roth IRAs at a young age and take advantage of them. Before we get into this, I want to remind everybody I am not a financial advisor or professional at in that field. This video is designed to mirror the advice that I have given to my own young adult children on this. It sets out some important basic principles that I have applied to them. It's up to you to decide whether or not you want to actually use it. If you have questions about your own financial situation and whether a Roth IRA account is good for you, check with your own accountant or with your own personal financial advisor. That said, let's get into it. Before getting into what a Roth IRA is, let's talk a little bit about what an IRA is generally. An IRA stands for an individual retirement account, and basically it's an investment account that you own and into which you put money every year for savings purposes. You invest that into stocks and bonds and other things, and it grows over time, and that money is then available for you when you retire. There are, of course, lots of other different types of accounts you can do that in. General savings accounts, you can use other types of brokerage accounts. The difference between those and an IRA account is that the federal government gives IRAs certain types of tax benefits that make them much more advantageous to use. Your money grows much faster and has real tax benefits. You can end up keeping more of your money rather than paying it. Those benefits can be huge over time. These tax benefits also are a good reason why you should always save your money first into an IRA or a 401k plan before you put them into another kind of savings account that might be taxed. It's always a good idea to take advantage of the tax benefits when you're figuring out where to put your money. There are two basic types of IRAs. One is a traditional IRA and the other is a Roth IRA. In one of our other videos, we'll talk about traditional IRAs. This one we're talking about Roths. Before we get into these, on our website, we have a link to a helpful page that the IRS has put together that explains the differences between the two. I think it's worth taking a look at that if you find that helpful. The reason a Roth IRA is called a Roth IRA is because the sponsor of the legislation that created it was Senator Roth from Delaware. So how does the Roth IRA work, and what are the key issues? We're going to be talking about a few key areas. First, we're talking about contributions, the limits, and the deadlines. Second, we're going to be talking about the tax benefits and how they work. And third, we're going to be talking a little bit about the withdrawal rules. First, contributions. Limits on contributions. Is there an age limit? The answer is no. You can be a young teenager and still, or even a child, and contribute money to an IRA. It's extremely advantageous to start very, very young. If you are under 18 when you start saving money and investing it, you're going to need a custodian, usually a parent, to help you set up the account. The account is considered a custodial account, and your parent will manage it until you become an adult under the age in your state, either 18 or 21. But even young people, children, can contribute to an IRA. Second thing you need to know about contributions is that you have to have a job and have earned income in order to put money in the Roth IRA. This is why it is important for young people to get odd jobs as soon as you can, even when you're a teenager, whether it's a waiter, whether you're mowing lawns, or whether you're working at a local bookstore. You can earn money in a part-time job that you can then put into a Roth IRA. Now, it's important to know that the amount that you're paid for that has to be legitimate. It has to be a fair market value amount. You can't get your parents to pay you $1,000 for taking out the garbage for 2 months to the street. It has to be fair market value. The maximum that you are allowed to contribute in the year is limited by your earned income. So if you only earn $4,000 in a given calendar year, the maximum you can put in the Roth IRA is $4,000. Since the current limits are more than that, you want to try and earn as much as you possibly can. So what are the limits? How much can you put in per year? Right now, well, for 2022, the maximum that an individual can put in is $6,000 a year. That goes up to $7,000 once you're over age 50, like I am, but for younger people, it's $6,000. You should do everything you can to maximize that out every year. There are also income limitations on the contributions, meaning that if you earn over a certain amount, you have to use a traditional IRA or a 401k. You can't put money into a Roth IRA. Those limits tend usually not to matter for young adults. For single young adults, the income limit is $129,000 in adjusted gross income. If you earn more than that, then you won't be able to contribute the full amount to an IRA. And you can contribute partial amounts above that up to $144,000. But if you make less than $129,000 adjusted gross income as an individual, you can max it out. If you are married and filing jointly, those numbers jump up to $204,000 to contribute the full amount, and then $214,000 for a reduced amount. So the deadlines. What is the deadline to make a contribution to a Roth IRA? It is usually the deadline for you to file your tax return for the previous year. So for 2022, if you want to contribute to your Roth IRA, you usually have until April the 15th of the next year, 2023, to get it in. Now, the important thing is you really don't want to wait until then to do it. The earlier you can get the money in the account, the better off you are, because the sooner it starts to grow and you get to take advantage of the magic of compound growth. We talk about compound growth in one of our other videos, but combining compound growth with the tax benefits of a Roth IRA is the single best way for young people in the United States to grow wealth over time, to build wealth and get yourself financially independent. So let's talk a little bit now about the second area, the tax benefits. What do the tax benefits of Roth IRAs consist of? Well, we're going to look at this at 3 different stages. 1, when you make the initial contribution. 2, while the money is growing over time. And number 3, when you take it out at the end. For a Roth IRA, there is no tax benefit on the initial contribution. Unlike a traditional IRA, you don't get to take a tax deduction for having made the contribution. Earn your income, pay your taxes on it, and then you make your Roth IRA contribution with what is left over. Now, the reason that's good for young people is the deduction for most young people and young adults really isn't going to matter much. When you're younger, you're not making as much money, so you're in a lower income bracket. So the deduction really doesn't do you a whole lot of good. So there's no real loss to not having the deduction at this early stage of your life. In addition, for many teenagers and some young adults in their early 20s, you're not going to be making enough money in part-time jobs in a year where you would have to pay taxes anyway. So if you don't have to pay taxes, getting a deduction really doesn't matter because you wouldn't be paying any taxes anyway. So let's talk about number 2, the taxes during the years that the account is growing. There are none. One of the nice things about the Roth IRA is that you don't have to pay taxes on the growth from year to year. So that's something you don't have to worry about. Now let's talk about taxation when you withdraw the funds. As long as you withdraw the funds after age 59 and a half, you will not pay taxes at all, either on the principal, meaning the contributions you put in, or, this is very important, the earnings that were earned on that account over time. That is the single biggest benefit of a Roth IRA. It grows tax-free, and then you get the money at the end tax-free. The reason that's particularly huge is because later in life you will have higher income levels and probably be in a higher tax bracket when you retire, but you're not going to have to pay those taxes for anything you put in the Roth IRA. That can have a huge impact on your financial situation later in life. 3, let's talk about withdrawals. First, we talked about contributions. Number 2, we talked about the tax benefits. Number 3, let's talk about withdrawals. 2 parts to this. First is early withdrawals. One of the benefits of a Roth IRA is that if you find yourself in a situation where you really need the money badly, you've got an emergency or something else has popped up, you can withdraw the amount you contributed, the principal, without any tax consequences at any time. You can do that, for example, if you put in $2,000 into your Roth IRA and it's grown to $2,300, you could withdraw the $2,000 that you put in, not the $300, but the $2,000 that you put in to help you in the case of an emergency or other situation. And one of the things that I want to emphasize, though, is you really want to try to avoid doing that. You want to budget carefully so you don't have to withdraw the money from your Roth IRA, because those funds are going to grow over time, and the more time you leave it in there, the bigger it will grow. You can also withdraw up to $10,000 from your Roth IRA for a first-time home purchase without penalty, which is good. So let's talk now about later withdrawals. When you reach age 59 and a half, which may seem like forever now, but I promise you isn't that far away, you can then withdraw both the principal and the earnings on the account without having to pay any taxes at all. That is hugely beneficial. There are a couple of other aspects of Roth IRAs that we're not going to discuss in this video, but that you probably should know about. For example, number 1, it may be possible to convert money from your traditional IRA into a Roth IRA. If you want to do that, that's something in which you should consult your own accountant or tax advisor to see if it makes sense for you. And in addition, a lot of employers that offer 401k plans also have Roth options within those plans that may have tax benefits. Ideally, you should talk to the Human Resources Department at your company to find out about that. So now if you've decided you want a Roth IRA account, Where do you go to get one? Well, for that one, see our separate video in which we discuss opening investment accounts. It has some information on where you can find these accounts, but I certainly hope that you will use them. That's it for now. We'll see you next time. Until then, remember, you got this.